Most DLS26 players think the 4-4-2 formation is outdated. But what if I told you that this formation can completely change the way you attack, defend, and control matches? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how the 4-4-2 works in Dream League Soccer 2026, the best type of players for every position, the biggest advantages, the hidden weaknesses, and the tactical mistakes that make many players lose games without even realizing it. Watch till the end, because one small adjustment in this formation can make a huge difference in your gameplay. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe to get more videos like this. Today we're taking a deep look at one of the most classic formations in football and in DLS26, the 4-4-2 formation. This is not a video about whether the formation is overpowered or whether it is the best formation in the game. I'm going to stay completely neutral and focus on how the formation works, where it performs well, where it struggles, and what type of players fit each position. If you've ever used 4-4-2 and felt that your strikers were isolated, your midfield was being overrun, or your defense was exposed, then this video is for you. So first, let's understand the basic structure. The 4-4-2 consists of 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 2 strikers. You have 2 center backs, 2 full backs, 2 central midfielders, 2 wide midfielders, and 2 forwards playing together up front. In DLS26, this formation is often seen as a balanced setup because it creates 2 organized lines of 4 behind the strikers. When defending, the team can become compact, and when attacking, it can provide width from the wide midfielders and support from the second striker. The most important thing to understand is that 4-4-2 is not about having more players in one area of the pitch. It is about maintaining good spacing and keeping the team shape. Now let's talk about how to use this formation in DLS26. When you have possession of the ball, think of the formation in 3 layers. The defenders start the build-up, the midfielders connect defense to attack, and the strikers finish the moves. A common mistake is trying to play long balls directly from the defenders to the strikers every time. A more effective approach is to move the ball step by step. Center back to full back to wide midfielder to central midfielder, and then into the strikers. This creates short passing triangles, which are very important in DLS26 because they help you keep possession under pressure. When defending, the 4-4-2 usually forms 2 banks of 4. The wide midfielders track back, the central midfielders stay close together, and the strikers can block passing lanes into midfield. This shape is especially useful against opponents who attack through the wings because it gives support to the full backs and keeps the team compact. Now let's look at the best type of players for each position. For the goalkeeper, look for good reflexes, strong handling, and decent passing. Since the 4-4-2 often builds from the back, a goalkeeper who can distribute the ball calmly is very helpful. For the center backs, I would look for 2 different qualities. One should be strong, good in tackles, and dominant in the air. The other should be quicker, with good positioning and recovery speed. Using 2 slow center backs can be risky against fast attackers, while using 2 overly aggressive center backs can leave gaps behind the defense. A combination of power and speed is usually the safest balance. For the full backs, speed and stamina are extremely important. They also need good crossing and solid defensive awareness. In this formation, full backs often have to support attacks and recover quickly. If they are too attacking, the wings become exposed. If they are too defensive, the team may struggle to create width. Now let's move to the midfield, which is really the heart of the 4-4-2. For the 2 central midfielders, I would avoid using 2 players with exactly the same profile. One should be more defensive, with good tackling, interceptions, and stamina. The other should be more creative, with better passing, vision, and ball control. If both midfielders constantly push forward, the center becomes open. If both stay too deep, the attack can become disconnected. The balance between winning the ball and progressing the ball is crucial. For the wide midfielders, these players are not pure wingers and not pure central midfielders. They need acceleration, dribbling, crossing, and a high work rate. Their job is to stretch the opponent's defense, deliver crosses, help the full backs defensively, and provide passing options during transitions. A wide midfielder who refuses to track back can create a 2 versus 1 problem for the full back. Now let's talk about the 2 strikers, which is the feature that makes the 4-4-2 unique. The most balanced partnership is usually one target forward and one runner. The target forward should be strong, good in the air, and able to hold up the ball. The runner should be quick, make good movements, and finish chances. The target striker can receive the ball with his back to goal and bring teammates into play, while the second striker attacks the space behind the defense. Using two target strikers can make the attack slow, and using two small fast strikers can reduce your aerial threat and hold up play. Let's look at the main attacking patterns. The first is wing play and crossing. The fullback overlaps. The wide midfielder receives the ball, and the cross is delivered into the box. One striker attacks the near post, while the other attacks the far post. The second pattern is the quick counterattack. After winning the ball, play into the nearest central midfielder, move the ball forward quickly, and use the second striker for a 1-2 pass. Because there are already two strikers positioned high up the pitch, counters can become very dangerous. The third pattern is central combination play. Use short passes between the central midfielder and the strikers, and between the two strikers themselves. This can create space around the edge of the penalty area. Now let's discuss the advantages of the 4-4-2. The first advantage is balance. The team has clear defensive and attacking responsibilities. The second is support for the strikers. Two forwards can combine more easily than a lone striker. The third is natural width from the wide midfielders and fullbacks. The fourth is defensive compactness, because the two lines of four are relatively easy to organize. And the fifth is simple transitions from defense to attack. These are some of the reasons many DLS26 players continue to experiment with this formation. But the formation also has weaknesses. One major weakness is midfield overloads. Against formations with three central midfielders, the two-man midfield can sometimes struggle. Another issue is the space that can appear between midfield and attack. The wide midfielders also have a heavy workload because they must contribute both offensively and defensively. If the fullbacks push too high, the team can become vulnerable to counterattacks. And compared to formations that use a central attacking midfielder, the 4-4 may second offer less creativity through the middle. Here are some common mistakes I often see in DLS26. Pushing both fullbacks forward at the same time. Using two attacking midfielders as the central midfield pair. Ignoring the wide midfielders during build-up play. Forcing long balls too often. And keeping the two strikers too far apart. Avoiding these mistakes is often more important than changing the formation itself. So when does the 4-4-2 generally work best? It is usually most comfortable when you want a balanced attack and defense, when you prefer wing play and crossing, when you have two strikers with different qualities, and when you want a formation that is relatively easy to organize. It may require more tactical adjustments when facing opponents who dominate the center of the pitch with 3 or 4 midfielders. To wrap this up, the 4-4-2 in DLS26 is a structured and balanced formation that depends heavily on player roles, spacing, and teamwork. Its biggest strengths are the two-striker partnership, natural width, and defensive organization. Its biggest challenges are midfield overloads, the workload on the wide players, and the spaces that can appear during transitions. Whether this formation works well for you will depend less on the formation itself and more on how you select your players, how you move the ball, and how well you maintain your shape throughout the match. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more DLS26 tactical videos on formations like 4-3-3, 3-4-3, 4-2-3-1, and 5-3-2, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which formation I should analyze next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.